So I want to take some time to talk to you about how to create economic certainty in what we call these uncertain times. How to create economic certainty in what we call these uncertain times. Now, before I get into all the details, because there's going to be a lot of details that I share with you with regard to this whole entire conversation and series of conversations that I'm going to have, I want to first and foremost explain to you that one of the reasons why I believe as a prophet in ministry and as a prophetic business owner in the marketplace, one of the reasons why I believe in the faith community, we have to have more conversations centered around economics than ever before is because spiritually, I think we've pretty much checked that box in the faith community. We have relationship with God. We have relationship with our churches. We understand the Bible. We understand spiritual mysteries. We're some of the most prophetic and spiritually sensitive people on the planet. So I think from a spiritual perspective, we've already checked that box. And the truth is, if you look at social issues with regard to how we engage with the culture, how we deal with people in the community, how we deal with the world. I'm talking about we as faith leaders and people in the faith community. We do an extraordinary job, even socially. So it's not that spiritually and socially we got the biggest issues. The biggest issues we have are economic issues because we don't address and implement and execute the correct principles enough in order to see that economic needle move us forward as a faith community. And my responsibility, my assignment, I believe at this point of my life, in this chapter of my life, is to bring those worlds together, not just as a prophet in ministry, but also as a prophetic business owner in the marketplace. And in order to bring those worlds together, we ain't gonna just be talking about no spiritual issues and social issues. We have to talk about some economic issues. And so I'm centering all of these series of conversations around how to create economic certainty in uncertain times. Now, since we've established that fact, let me move forward a little bit and say, I don't believe we're in uncertain times. I truly believe that according to Romans 8:28, we as Christian believers should already know that no matter what the things are that we go through in culture, that we go through in society, that we go through spiritually, socially, or even economically, we as believers should already know that all things are working together for the good because we love God and we're called according to his purpose. And so I don't believe we're in uncertain times, but because this is a very common phrase that a lot of people are using, and because of a lack of knowledge, because of a lack of correct information, because of a lack of implementation and the proper execution of certain knowledge and principles, we collectively as a generation, we collectively as a faith community, we feel, at least I talk to a lot of people who feel like we are really in uncertain times. In other words, they don't know what tomorrow holds. They don't know if they're going to have a job. They don't know if they're going to have a place to stay. They just don't know. In other words, they are uncertain. And so I want to be a solution to some of these problems. I want to help provide somewhat of a different perspective so that you can understand, even if deep down in your heart you feel like these are uncertain times, how can you create economic certainty? Well, we've already established the fact that if you're going to create economic certainty, you got to have some type of spiritual certainty. You got to know without a shadow of a doubt, God got you in this. This is not going to take you out. This is not going to negatively affect 99.9% of the population of the world, more so people of faith who have a relationship with God and who have a specific assignment that God has them on. So let's establish that spiritual fact now. You ain't going nowhere. You shall not die, but you shall live and declare the works of God. There's more life in front of you than there is behind you. And despite what it is that you see going on, God gonna bring you through this thing, and he's gonna get you to the other side of this thing. And while you're still in it, whether you feel deep down in your heart you're in uncertain times or not. I want you to at least embrace the certainty or the assurance to know that God is God enough to work these things out for your good, because he knows that you love him and he knows that you're called according to a purpose that you might not be quite certain of, but you know there is a purpose that exists. And so my challenge to you is to establish that spiritual foundation first, even before you begin to build on a framework of having economic certainty in what we call and consider uncertain times.